What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So we have a major decision coming here within 24 hours coming from the Fed. And they're doing it here yet again, basically deciding here the fate of Americans here. It's absolutely ridiculous what the Fed is doing here. We're going to give you here the information here in a moment. We're also going to go over here in this video for you guys the massive increase that we're seeing here in food prices across the United States and the globe. Absolutely wild. We'll get to that here. Also, in this video, I'm going to tell you about 58,000 pounds of raw ground beef being recalled in multiple states. I'll tell you about that as well in this video, as well as rising food costs that you need to know about. So make sure to watch this video all the way through. I got a lot of information for you. As we go over the Fed's next interest rate decision, expected to be great news for Americans. But is it? Is it? I'm not so sure. A 50-50 chance that they will either raise interest rates or hold interest rates. Either way, I'm not so sure if this is great news for Americans, as the historic climb to interest rates here at abnormally high interest rates here, at least at modern standards here. Mortgage interest rates at 8% for average credit rates, which is unbelievable here. We've gone to sub 3% mortgage rates to 8% mortgage rates, which can add $500 to $1,000 to a mortgage payment here compared to where we were to where we are now, which is absolutely just insane. And credit cards at the average credit card interest rate now at 28% interest rate, the highest ever, which is wild, absolutely wild. Where do we go from here? And even just to keep them this high for longer is an absolute crime to the average everyday Americans here. And how long are they going to keep them this high is an absolute just travesty to tens of millions of Americans. Take a listen here to Dallas Fed and the problem here with this. I just can't. Take a listen here.
Committee. He's now a professor at Dartmouth College. He joins me now. So, are you seeing embers? Do you see, as the Dallas Fed, that the embers are glowing too sharply, or are we not even at that stage yet?
Well, I think that analogy is probably not right. I mean, the difficulty always here is knowing when to stop. And monetary policy, higher interest rates, takes a while to have an effect. And the question is the solution, is the treatment worse than the problem? Now, I have an indicator, actually, of whether we're in recession. That indicator sparked last week. The indicator is, has the unemployment rate risen by 0.3 on the month? And that happened this month. A couple of other things, Richard, that actually are indicated. The labor market appears to be slowing, but there are some other indicators that may suggest the Fed is right to take its foot off the pedal. So delinquency rates for credit cards and auto loans are rising. Student loan payments are restarting. People are running out of the excess savings that they had. And banking sector loan growth has slowed. So there's a lot of indicators that the economy is slowing. And we saw from our home country of the UK today a surprise on GDP growth, negative GDP growth, and manufacturing around the world is weakening, and so is China. So the answer is this all takes a wee while. The likelihood is the Fed, as usual, has done too much, not too little.
Do you think that ultimately we will manage to get out without a recession? Or have we been naive in that respect? We haven't seen a big uptick in unemployment, and there is a strong argument that says it is a sine qua non of dealing with inflation that you do have to slow down sufficiently to raise unemployment and arguably recession.
Richard, of course, I think everybody was sort of surprised, including me, that the labour market didn't worsen more quickly. I think the evidence is that it probably is, but maybe that there's things left from the pandemic that really were different than before. I mean, this thing about households actually had quite a lot of savings. They could insulate themselves. So the fact that we haven't seen it yet was the surprise. As I say, the fact that the unemployment rate went up by 0.3 on a single
Right.
month is suggestive.
Yeah, so you got to wonder here, is the solution to this problem worse than the actual problem? And this is what we're seeing from the Fed. Credit card interest rates at 28%, mortgage rates at over 20-year highs, 8%, and people that have adjustable rate mortgages, people that go to buy new homes, people that go to buy new cars, people that go to lease new cars, people that go to buy used cars are seeing this massive increase in payments. And with the average new car payment over $700, and with the UAW going for their massive increase in employment, their pay increase of it's going to be over 20% at least. They've already negotiated that, but they want more. We're just seeing this massive increase in inflation everywhere across the board. And we're also seeing this in food because it's everywhere. The cost of groceries, our food prices going up. Food prices in August 2023 increased 4.3% alone in August from the same price last year. Wow. Have food prices been rising? Absolutely. Thanks to a combination of inflation, pandemic-related supply chain disruptions, and tariffs on certain foreign imports. Food prices have been steadily rising since 2020. Inflation has been slowing in the past year, but again, that just means that that's the increase from last year, but we've seen increases year after year after year. The latest data shows the cost of groceries aren't rising as fast as they once were, but we've still seen an increase of 4.3% since last August. So we're still seeing massive increases year over year after year. Because get this, comparison at the same time in 2022, prices rose 10.9% over a 1-year period. Wow. Wow. Absolutely wow. The index for food at home, groceries, is 3% higher year over year from July. Restaurants are paying more, 6.5% for food than they did a year ago. Limited service meals takeout rose 6.7% year over year, while for full service sit-down restaurant meals rose 5.2% year over year. It just seems like everything is just getting wild. Every single thing. Take a look at this here. Olive oil prices surge over 100% to record highs, sparking cooking oil thefts. Yeah, olive oil prices spiked to fresh records as severe droughts in major producing countries crimp supplies. Remember, you might not think that a lot of stuff is imported, but stuff like this, olive oil, gets imported. It's not necessarily imported from China per se, but stuff like this is imported. Stuff gets imported from Mexico, Europe, anywhere, right? Global prices for olive oil surged to $8,900 per ton in September, driven by, quote, extremely dry weather in the Mediterranean. According to a recent report by the United States Department of Agriculture, already the average price in August was 130% higher compared to the year before and showed no signs of easing. Spain, the world's largest producer and exporter of olive oil, has been battered by an intense drought for months. The country also recorded its third hottest summer, with an average summer of 1.3 degrees Celsius, higher than normal, according to the state meteorological agency. Further complicating matters is Turkey's decision to suspend bulk olive oil exports. The suspension has worsened the already limited volumes in Spain. So that's two different countries here. And with the spike in prices has driven up thefts in cooking oil of people who, I guess, can't afford it now because of the price. And now we're seeing major thefts of this as well. Also, over 58,000 pounds of raw ground beef has been recalled in multiple states. 3 products from American Foods Group have possible E. coli contamination. Yeah, so 3 products from American Food Group have possible E. coli contamination. This is, you'll see the information right here. As of September 18th, the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, announced a recall on approximately 58,000 pounds of raw ground beef due to possible E. coli contamination. American Food Group and business operator Green Bay Dressed Beef announced a recall Friday after a sample collected by a state public health official notified the USDA Food Safety and Inspection Services that some products may be contaminated with Shiga toxin producing E. coli STEC 0103. The recalled products included 3 specific 10-pound plastic tubes known as chubs. The raw ground beef items produced on August 14th, 2023 have an establishment number EST 18076 inside the USDA mark of inspection. 3 products are subject to the recall. Approximately 80-pound cases containing 10 plastic tube chubs of 950 beef fine ground 81/19 with the lot code. You can see it here. You can pause the screen. Approximately 80-pound cases containing, again, the information is here on the screen, and approximately 80-pound cases containing lot codes here. The now recalled food items have been shipped to distributors in Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio. There have been no confirmed reports of adverse reactions due to consumption of these products yet. These products should be thrown away or returned to the place of purchase, potentially for a refund. People can become ill 1 to 10 days after consumption of this STEC bacteria. Symptoms of E. coli bacteria include vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes bloody that worsens over several days, according to the CDC. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. I'll update you here on the Fed's decision coming out here within a day or so. So make sure to subscribe down below here to our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the bell icon after subscribing. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for liking and sharing these videos here as well. Click here to see the NATO chief's massive warning here next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.